What's up, guys? Welcome back to Malt Mondays. Now I am trying out filming in a little bit of a different place here, so bear with me while I adjust some of the lighting, framing, some of that stuff. So this is my first video with this setup, so we'll work on it. Now I'm finishing my review series of the Johnnie Walker line. So I did the black label, the gold label, the platinum, and then finally today we have the blue label. So far I've really kind of enjoyed the Johnnie Walkers, but I haven't been very impressed with any of them. If you watch my review of the 12-year-old black label, that to me is something that I think is a very solid whiskey, and I think especially because it sits at the $30 to $35 price point, it's a great place to start if you're getting into Scotch, especially. It's more compelling to me than a lot of the other $30 blends that are available, but I was really disappointed with the gold label because it's just so expensive for what it is. I like it, but it's just way too expensive. The platinum, I feel like, offers more value for your money. Again, I really enjoyed the platinum quite a bit, but I'm still not super impressed with any of them. So we've got the Johnnie Walker Blue Label, and this is one I've never tried before, getting this nice little sample set. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in trying the Johnnie Walker lineup and you're not interested in spending $35, $90, $120, and then $200 for each of these bottles to try them, look out for this sampler set. Sometimes you can order it online from like Masters of Malt, places like that. I just got lucky and found it at a store. So with the blue label, we have 40% ABV again, which is a little bit unfortunate because we're now at the $200 price point, and I really feel like Johnnie Walker could have given us just a little bit more ABV in the bottle, but it may make up for that. It may be good enough. And what's cool is they actually include a cork on this one. So even though it's a third size bottle, 200 milliliters, they went ahead and put a cork in it, which is pretty cool. And it's got the heavier glass bottom, so it's got the nice blue glass, and it definitely feels very premium, as it should, since just this bottle is about $70 worth of whiskey. Now, Johnnie Walker is a blend, which means it's using malt and grain whiskeys, and that can have a negative connotation sometimes in terms of quality, but it doesn't have to. I mean, one of my favorite scotches is Hedonism, and it's a single grain whiskey. It's all grain whiskey, so there's no reason to associate grain whiskey with poor quality. That connotation is just there because a lot of times it is done to cut costs and cut corners and make whiskey cheaper and basically be used as filler in blended scotches. So while that is sometimes true, it's not always the case. So we'll see. I would expect with this high end of a bottling that they wouldn't use too much grain whiskey, and the grain whiskey that they would use would be of higher quality. Now, this is no age statement, so we have no idea how old this is. This could be anywhere from 3 years old, because it is Scotch whiskey, so it has to be minimum 3 years old, up to 30 years old. And I would guess, and this is just a guess, because the platinum label is 18-year-old age statement, and that's about half the price of this one, I would guess that there's probably not much in this bottle that's below 15 years old, and probably quite a bit that's in the 18 to 25 year range. And I would say that's probably the mix, is 15 to 25, just because it's hard to get enough quality if you're putting too much young whiskey in there. But again, that's just a guess. So let's see how it smells. This smells really nice. This is just so like candied fruit. It's not heavily, like, it's not like a heavy sherry characteristic. To me, this smells like candied oranges. Definitely like a lemony zest aroma, some green apples. This is very reminiscent of the Platinum label's aroma to me, where it has a lot of the same elements, but they're just a little bit richer, a little bit darker. Because there's quite a bit more of like a dark, not dark, but like a dusty oak aroma in the back. Starting to smell a little bit like a cellar. So again, I would hazard a guess that most of what's in here has a decent amount of age on it. Certainly there are younger whiskeys in this, to keep prices down. But I would guess just from the aroma that this is generally pretty well aged stock. But again, not a lot of sherry, and I don't really get that much smoke on this. I think some of the younger and Johnnie Walkers are a little bit peatier. And this is just like way in the background, like the tiniest whiff of smoke. So we'll go ahead and taste it. That's a really nice flavor. Very round, no burn at all. Very, very smooth. I get a little more of the peaty kind of flavors coming in here, but it's not smoke. It's not like Lafroig ashtray kind of smoke. This is just like a little bit of moss, a little bit of herbs. Definitely getting that candied fruit coming back. There's actually a little bit of a malty characteristic to this as well. A little bit of like that kind of creamy barley kind of flavor. Getting old oak coming in on the finish. I don't really get any of the chocolate that I got in the Platinum label. The Platinum to me had a little bit of a dark chocolate kind of on the finish, but this I don't really get that. This is a little more towards the fruity side of the spectrum, but again, it's not too sweet, not sherried fruitiness. This is more of a kind of Speyside ex-bourbon kind of fruit characteristic, with a little bit of a nuttiness. I mean, there's definitely some sherry, but I wouldn't describe this as like a really sherried whiskey. And it just has such a really balanced flavor. Man, this is tough. So if I was going to score this, I would give this an A-, because I think the aroma is really nice. I think the palate's really nice. And you get a lot of the same flavors in each. And for me, a lot of what I look for in a whiskey is being able to smell it and then taste a lot of the same flavors that I've picked up in the aroma. To me, that's a sign of like a really well-made whiskey that you're getting exactly what's in the glass, both on the nose and the palate. And this one definitely hits that mark. There's very subtle deviation to me in the taste from the smell, as well as all the flavors here are really harmonious. Like with the Platinum label, I kind of felt like they were so close, like it was almost there, that the sherry and the peat characteristics had almost kind of blended, but at the end there was just like a little too medicinal of a note, a little too much of the sherry flavor that were kind of butting heads and not really working for me. But this I feel like is right on the mark. So I'm going to give this an A-. This is very good. I just don't think it competes at $200. And I say that because at $200, you're up against Glenmorangie Signet, you're up against Balvenie 21-year-old, you're up against, I don't know, you're well beyond Highland Park 18. I mean, there's so much competition towards that point that, and below it, that I don't think this really excels beyond that. That being said, if you were going to have a bottle of Johnnie Walker just to pull out for special occasions, and if you like the Johnnie Walker flavor profile, this is the one to get. Even though it's only 40% ABV, this doesn't taste thin to me at all. It's got flavor. It's got plenty of flavor to it, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed in it. It's just a really, really well-balanced and well-made whiskey. And that being said, this suffers from the same problem that most blends have, which is it doesn't really have a strong characteristic flavor going for it like many single malts do that make this something that you really want to pull out to impress like a whiskey lover. And I say that because the more whiskeys you try, the more most people tend to gravitate towards like unusual and really interesting flavors. So towards, you know, unique cask finishes or unique aging processes that give a very different flavor to a whiskey. But for the majority of people, this is going to be a fantastic whiskey to have because it's so well balanced, it's so easy to drink, and it's got a lot of flavor to it, especially for 40% ABV. I'm really pretty impressed with this. I just think it's a little too expensive. I think, honestly, if this was at $130 to $150, I think this would definitely be a very strong contender against many of the single malts that it competes against. And that being said, a lot of times you can find deals on this. So I wouldn't go over $200 for this, but if you're finding this between $150 and $200, I don't think you'll be disappointed, especially if you like Johnnie Walker. Now, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll be coming out with videos more regularly from now on. I know I've been a little bit lax on the videos, but subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be continuing to do the channel, don't worry about that. And I will be doing some Japanese whiskeys next with the Nika line, I believe. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.